Hello. Let's take a shot at this. Antinatalism. By procreating, you perpetuate an endless cycle of suffering. It should be an endless. You can end this. Become an antinatalist. Really. You can end this. You can. Individually. Really. All you have to do is not have children. Let's see here. This is a comment on one of my videos, one of my live streams, I believe, World Domination. This person, Excellence, said, knowing this is a hellscape, why isn't antinatalism emphasized to stop bringing life to suffer in here? Or is it simply a case of misery loves company? Really? Are you talking about normies loving company with their misery? Or are you talking about me? Who are you talking about? Who are you speaking about? Are you saying that I should emphasize antinatalism on my channel? Well, I'm not a one-topic channel. If you want, there's lots of antinatalism channels. There's also lots of veganism channels, feminism channels. Here's the definition of antinatalism, according to Wikipedia. Antinatalism, or anti-natalism, is a philosophical view that deems procreation to be unethical or unjustifiable. Antinatalists thus argue that humans should abstain from having children. Some antinatalists consider coming into existence to always be a serious harm. Well, I agree with them. But do I use the label antinatalist for myself? No, because I don't agree with the group and the hive mind and the way they behave. I don't want to group myself in with generally a bunch of fucking idiots. So they might have one thing correct, that bringing ones into existence here is always causing harm. You will suffer if you bring someone in here. There's no doubt if you have a baby in their lives, at some point they will suffer various things, small and large, eventually. I didn't ask to be here, this meme. Is that true? Yeah, it seems to be. Other than the ones that insist that they chose to come here. Maybe they did. Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they're deceived. I don't know for sure. And neither do you. You don't know for sure either. But antinatalists seem to believe that they can stop this realm and they can shut down breeding, procreation. I don't think you can. Natalism versus antinatalism. And this is how natalists view you, as the crazy one that's always fixated on suffering and never enjoying anything. And a lot of you do come across as miserable. A lot of you do, just like feminists and vegans do. A lot of people following these ideologies come across as nuts and miserable and ones you don't want to be around. And the normies do view it this way. They view it as, oh, this gives hope. And Schopenhauer is pictured there. Life is an unprofitable episode, disturbing the blessed calm of non-existence. I don't want non-existence. So I'm not an antinatalist. I won't label myself or group myself in with you. I don't want to be viewed as someone that seeks non-existence, someone that's miserable, someone that has a one-track mind, tunnel vision. That's how a lot of you come across, and you don't realize it. You think you have a solution to this hell realm. Well, the solution's antinatalism. Everybody stop having babies. Well, they're not going to, though. Just like a guy I knew decades ago that thought the solution to pollution, or quote global warming, psyop, was to just stop driving cars and ride a bicycle, including in winter, because he said a bike won't pollute. Well, he did that his whole life, but nobody else followed along. He didn't make any impact at all, other than making himself cold and suffering in the wintertime and risking his life driving on snowy and icy roads. Look at this here. She could feed a village with those milkers. She could feed many children with those. There used to be wet nurses in the old days where they would feed other children. They would also use breast milk to feed the ill. You could pay for a wet nurse. Okay? My ism more important than your ism. Yeah. Antinatalism is the most important. That's the one silver bullet solution, right? That's what some of you get wrapped up in. And you're in a cult, essentially, because you have a cult view that you have the one solution. Your solution is the solution. Well, I don't foresee a time when people will all stop having children in this realm. So it's never going to win. It's never going to be the solution for this realm. And by the way, other than it being a failure and a pipe dream, what about the people that are good parents? I view it this way. These spirits are coming in regardless. If I don't have children, they're coming in, and I don't have children. I've chosen not to, because I do see it as a hell realm. So some of you idiots would say, well, you didn't have children, so therefore you're an antinatalist, Stephen. No, don't apply that label to me. I'm not in your group. I'm not in your cult. Okay? I don't want to bring children in here to suffer, nor do I want to join your fucking cult and be grouped in with you fools that are often violent. You're often disturbed, deranged, extremists, etc., freaks, weirdos. I don't want to be grouped in with you. But also, save the earth, don't give birth. I don't want to save this earth. And it's grouped in with veganism and everything else. Vegans and antinatalism is connected a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times. But I also want to say there are good parents. So the ones that are good, that didn't know this was a hell realm and had 2 or 3 children, or 5 or 6, or 1, or whatever they had, didn't know what this realm was. I know good beings, good spirits have had children. Now, they saved that spirit from being raised by abusive children. They were coming in here anyway. That's another way of looking at it. They were going to come into this realm one way or another. They were on their way in, and they got lucky with good parents that did their best. And I commend those good parents. Don't feel guilty or shameful. Don't be the one beating yourself up saying you didn't know, because you didn't know. So drop the guilt or shame that you might feel. If you were a good parent, you did more than most in this realm. You should be proud of yourself. It's not fair to yourself to beat yourself up for what you didn't know. Whether you had babies and brought them in, if you were a good parent, then I'm proud of you. And I mean that sincerely. Their lives, your children's lives, could have been much worse raised by someone else. All right? Also, drop any guilt or shame if years ago or decades ago, before, when you were asleep, we'll say, if you had an abortion or if you made mistakes. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying drop the guilt and shame. Forgive yourself before you leave this realm for whatever mistakes you made in this place. We're not perfect. We're not in a perfect realm. This realm is designed to beat you up, beat you down, get you to fill yourself with guilt and shame, and make you suffer. It's designed to do that. You're not in a good place. This realm is not a good place. So be gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself. Dump all of that guilt and shame here. And don't let these groups shame you either. Because a lot of them are miserable people, miserable beings, whether they're people or demons, regardless, they're miserable. A lot of them will try to guilt you and shame you as much as they can in person, not just in memes, but in person and on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever. They will try to hammer you with this. Now, am I telling people that are aware that it's a hell realm to bring in tons of children? No. But do I think antinatalism is the solution for shutting down this matrix? Just stop having babies in their simple mind. Everyone will just stop. That'll never happen. That's a pipe dream. That's a fantasy. That's laughable. And that's often what people run to. They either run into escapism or they run to these fantasies. It's not going to work. You can't vote away tyranny. You're just voting in more tyrants. And you can't just, by not having children yourself, expect everyone else to follow suit. It won't happen. It's obvious. There won't be world peace. There won't be a time in this realm where no one has babies, even if they outlawed it, which I'm sure governments won't do. They can control populations if they want to, like China's mistake of the one-child policy that they tried to enforce. Now they have commercials in China begging people, pleading with them to have babies. I'm not kidding. There's commercials in China telling them to have babies. They flip-flop all the time in this realm. They're not perfect with their control systems. Evil isn't perfect, and neither is good in this realm. But what I'm getting at is, if you decide not to bring in any babies into this realm, any spirits, good, great. But don't delude yourself and pretend that you're stopping this matrix, or it's going to be the solution, antinatalism. You'll never convince everyone. You'll never convince even a majority, 51%, to do that. Never. It's laughable that you even believe you can do that. You won't even convince most people in this realm that elections are rigged, that governments are rigged, that it's evil, that you can't convince most people of anything in this place. You'll never convince most people not to follow a religion, for example. You'll never convince most people that this is a hell realm, that it's some kind of biomatrix or sewer matrix. Never. By most, I'm talking about a thin majority, 51%, let's say. Most doesn't mean all, it doesn't mean 100%. But in terms of a solution, you'd have to convince 100% to stop having babies, to end this suffering realm. It's never going to happen. I mean, if you can't see that that's obvious, then you have mental issues. You're brainwashed in a cult called antinatalism. And some will say, it's not a cult, it's a philosophy, Stephen. Well, your belief in it is cult-like. The way that you believe that it's the solution and that it should be pushed or emphasized. And there's a lot like that. And I just decided to use a recent comment to make this video. So why am I not pushing antinatalism? For the same reason that I'm not pushing Tesla's electric cars, chargeable cars, to save the environment. It doesn't work. Same reason that I'm not pushing sell your vehicle, never buy another car, and ride a bicycle. Doesn't work. It doesn't change anything. It makes almost no impact, and that's what antinatalism does. You believe it's the solution. In reality, it makes almost zero difference. Those spirits, if I don't have babies, someone else will, in reality, and they are every day. There's babies born every day. So those spirits are not brought in. I'm not creating spirits by having babies. They're coming here anyways into this realm. And you don't look at that aspect. They're on the way anyways, and they could be here by very evil people, abusive parents, neglectful parents, ones who don't give a shit. There's a lot like that in this realm. I can't stop them from having babies. Therefore, antinatalism is not the solution for ending this hell realm whatsoever. There you go.